Let's say I got a gun in my hand. 6 slugs, 6 points of view. Materialism. Let's say I got a book in my hand. 50,000 words, 50,000 translations. Idealism.
Bonjour, hi. You're now listening to Esprit by the PM Records on N10.as.
ella gana el poder, usado como regla, matando al padre, violando madre. Nacidos de la violencia, nacidos de la violencia. Mundial, destrucción, quiero guerra, quiero paz. Nacido de la violencia, nacido de la violencia.
Diney is one of the people behind Stripper News, which is an online-based news shorts platform where strippers highlight topical news headlines. These stories are short and digestible and use humor to convey of stories that are often taboo and aren't covered. We talked to Diney about censorship in social media and the ideas that develop the programming. First off, what is the inspiration for you to start Stripper News? How was the framework developed?
The inspiration came from many different things. I've always been really interested in news dissemination and how we consume news. And then I've also obviously always been interested in sex work, and I've been a sex worker for a long time. So it was kind of funny that they kind of fused together, and like all ideas, like seeds get planted and then you kind of cultivate them later. They get planted underground and then they kind of like combine and connect and then they kind of come up later. But yeah, I always was really interested in news and media. And then like when it started to come more into fruition was like end of 2024, so like end of last year. I was trying to experiment with doing like street interviews with people on intimacy. And I have interviewed people in the past on news, and like when I was interviewing people in the past on news, my friend was like, people are probably like nervous to talk to you because like if you look like good in a certain way or like if you're dressed up kind of sexy, they're gonna get nervous. And then when I was doing the intimacy interviews, a guy was like kind of said something similar where he was like, no one's gonna want to talk to you if you like look glam or something. And instead of like being afraid of that, I think I kind of was like, I want to lean into that. And then also my friend and I, we were filming the interviews in like Dundas West Square, and I was like nervous to go up to people. And on camera, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm in a strip club. Like I feel like when you're in a strip club, you're really, you know, you have to be okay with rejection. You have to be okay with like going up to people and asking them for a lap dance. And I don't know, the two pieces just all of a sudden started to make sense. And I also think like something I've always wanted to highlight is how many skills sex workers have to utilize, like how many social skills they have to utilize, how much like character switching you're doing, how much information you're gathering behind closed doors. You know, I think conversations that sex workers have with their clients in the champagne room or in a private room somewhere or in a chat room like should be studied sometimes, for like just the amount of information and secret information you sometimes get like privy to, and also the way that you're kind of sometimes like influencing your own politics onto like your client in like very sexy, subtle ways. So stripper news came out of that too, where I was like, I want to show how smart and engaged me and my peers are, and how much we have to say and how much we're not able to say. And I also want us to be able to claim and own that we're strippers. So it was like two birds with one stone. Like I want us to bring sex work into the mainstream more and have people take us seriously and realize like how much we have to offer. And then I also want us to challenge how mainstream audiences consume news, the sources they consume them from, how they consume them, you know, journalistic integrity and so on. So it kind of came from like, yeah, just a bunch of different ideas together, and then it like clicked. And I don't even remember this, but like Milena, who I work with now, she just told me that like I think there was a moment where I was just like stripper news. Like I was saying a lot of ideas and I was just like stripper news. And I had even said it to like, you know, some people that I have given lap dances to at the time. And then I was like, I have to make this now.
Oh my God, brilliant. How do you decide what stories to cover, and what is your writing process for these?
Yeah, so the writing process has developed a little bit since the beginning, and I think it's going to keep developing. Something that's really important to me is that the girls like me and the girls like the hosts, the dancers, that we are talking about things that interest us and just like things that we've just organically seen. Because like in a way, part of stripper news, it's like a response to news instead of like always us just like bringing random stories or bringing even news stories. Like it's also just a response to news. So it's like how every dancer involved just organically reacts to like the news that she consumes on her phone or through her friends, and then whatever she organically wants to then talk about. So that's like really important to me, and I want to continue with that. So like right now we have a Discord actually with like the main hosts, and we all dump news headlines in, and then we'll talk about what we're attracted to covering, and then we have like a little bit of an approval process of like, yeah, we have time this month to do that, or we all really collectively agree that's a really great story, and like here are some more resources. And then sometimes we will hire someone freelance to kind of help us write the script and fact check, as well as like one of the dancers will also write. Sometimes just like Andrea or one of the dancers will just like write their own script completely and whatever, and we'll fact check some of it. And go from there. But yeah, I feel like it's really important that we're covering stories that we care about and how we want to cover them, and then that we're also then bringing in like research and like a collective research together, whether it's like just through our collective little community on Discord that's going to grow, as well as like a couple of freelancers outside of the sex work industry that we also employ to consult, to give feedback, to help us write good scripts or information. And even for me too, like recently we did the piece on demystifying autism in the media. Like that just happened really organically, where I was like, I've always wanted to do a piece like this in general. I think we don't have enough out there that like is just giving a more well-rounded take on it. So I was just like, stripper news, this is a job for stripper news. So I put that idea in the mix like 2 months before we even brought that video out, and it was like really important that everyone on the script like had a diagnosis, and the people that we consulted, etc. So that just like was a genuine story that I really wanted to do, and I wanted to do it in a certain way. And then also sometimes we obviously just do like weekly updates where we just kind of like take the most relevant headlines that are happening, and we just kind of give our take on it. But yeah, I think as it expands, and we can talk about this more too after, but I think as it expands, like I want to keep bringing in more strippers like into the Discord that are not just Toronto based, that are like global. And I'm meeting more and more people that like want to be part of it. So I think bringing in more girls who are engaged, that want to bring in headlines or want to bring in local stories or want to cover things would be amazing. I think eventually too, I would love to have a public Discord for Stripper News community. So the fans of Stripper News to also be part of, because something I've noticed is there are so many like brilliant people who consume Stripper News, who have like been offering really good tips for stories or resources for finding stories, resources for like fact checking, people that are like, working in policy, that are working in law, that are working like in environmental studies, like people that just have so much information that I think that really want to contribute, or just like even just give us good like facts. I think it'd be really cool to have a Discord where people outside that aren't dancers can contribute their insight and expertise to us, and then we can spread the word in the way that we want to spread it.
With ongoing impression of more marginal topics on social media, why did you choose a medium that is primarily social media based? And how do you plan on working around this? Because I think we all know where it's going.
Yeah, I love this question, honestly, because I love this question. It's a scary question, and like it's so real. Because obviously, there's some I don't knows kind of in it, but also, yeah, I love this question because the goal really is to take stripper news ideally in a direction where we can like withstand social media. I mean, like, this is the one thing about sex work is like sex work is the oldest medium. It's one of the oldest fucking jobs. If anything, it's like the oldest job. So like sex work, and this is a big thing. It's like we're always like sex workers aren't going anywhere. Like decriminalize sex work, take sex work seriously because like it's been around. So like there is this like and there is this like there's this thing that's like inherently baked into sex work where like you're always gonna find a way around. Like Tumblr gets shut down, you're gonna find a way to like use Twitter now. Twitter gets shut down, you're gonna move here. Instagram this, like, there's always been inherent, like there's people that have been working in the industry for, 10, 20 years who have like, been in it before OnlyFans, been in it before this, have like figured all these different ways around payment processing. So I kind of see the same approach with social media. So like the reason why I started on social media is like, it's the easiest medium to, I think, play with, and it's the easiest medium to get attention right now. And I think if we can get a lot of attention really quickly off of social media and we can use social media as like a fun kind of like advertisement for what we're doing, we can bring people to things outside of social media. So I think like the goal is to create an audience as fast as possible on social media and to create a community through that audience, and then to take that audience to other branches. Like even if we still play on social media indefinitely, that like, you know, we have our own site, and then also maybe we have like, again, like our own Discord, our own community channels, Patreon. Maybe we start doing print, maybe we start doing radio, you know, like maybe I think it's like about us finding and continuously adapting to the tools that will serve us, like spreading the message of stripper news and creating generating good community buzz around like news, around genuinely consuming news, and also around like sex work. I would love to also do like live events with stripper news. Like I think it's basically made for live events. Like, you know, I think one of my really big goals too is to get more people in strip clubs, like more people who don't think they need to consume sex work and don't understand the value of sex work, like into the strip club too, and to like, you know, make that experience feel less scary and feel really empowering. I think getting a lap dance, and like even if you're just buying one lap dance, I think it can feel so empowering. Even if you don't think you need it or like whatever, you might, you know what I mean? So I think like it'd be really cool to do more events where we're doing like live stripper news, where we're like, you know, we're talking about the news, we're having maybe like a round table, and then also people can get lap dances during the night as well and like watch shows. And I think that would be so cool. I think it would also bring together such a variety of an audience, and I would love to see what that energy would create. So yeah, there's like, and how we work around it right now, I guess, is like, you know, we're censoring, we're trying to kind of skirt within the censorship. I'm actually rejigging everything for the YouTube and for TikTok, because those have harder censorship. So I'm gonna rejig. I'm probably just gonna like physically censor a lot more and beep a lot more, so that the content can exist there. And then probably on like a Patreon or on eventually maybe our own site, we'd have the uncensored versions and like the audio versions. Like we're just gonna maximize whatever we can to just get people to be able to listen to it unfiltered. But I probably will censor it. But I think I'm even going to censor it in like these really almost like exaggerated ways, because it's obviously like a fuck you to the censorship.
Do you see strippers covering the news as inherently controversial, and is that part of the appeal? Or do you think it breaking social norms is more part of the appeal?
I think that strippers covering the news is inherently controversial, and I think it is part of the appeal. Of obviously, you know, it's like one of the reasons why I've like made the word stripper news such an inherent part of every single video. And because it's like stripper news, what are you gonna get? Stripper news, strippers giving the news. Oh my God. So I think like it is inherently controversial, but I don't think it's the most important part of any of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like really, and I don't even think it's like, I'm not even doing it as like clickbait. I think it's naturally clickbait. Just like any form of like being sort of a little bit turned on or titillated is like naturally gonna rise something inside of you. So yeah, I think it is inherently controversial, and I like that. It's inherently controversial. I think that breaking social norms is part of the appeal. I think, again, like I think this idea of like breaking both sort of very specific, almost like most common like misconceptions or assumptions around strippers at the same time is what's happening with stripper news. It's like you have the Hollywood side of like the Nora, like strippers are so like sexy in this like one way, and like they only want whatever, and then and they don't think about anything outside of this, or like the, yeah, I guess there's like that, or the like you know, the news side of things where it's like, you know, news often covers like sex work in such a dark way. So I think like being like stripper news, it's like you're seeing strippers like embrace their sexuality in like a really fun way. you're seeing them be sexy, but you're also seeing them like just say their own opinions and like research topics and like literally give you the news. Like, you know, you might even hear some stuff that you've never even thought about or learned about, and it's like fucking well researched. So I think, yeah, it's about challenging those norms too.
And for the final question, stripper
Yeah.
news, is it punk?
I'll let the audience answer that. No. I think it is. I think it is, obviously. Like, I am curious what other people think. I think it is punk. I think, I don't know, like, I think punk is like a word and something that is constantly evolving, right? Like, you have to be evolving in order to make something punk or to like be punk. But yeah, I think it is. Like, we're like, I think stripper news is gonna have the last laugh. You know what I mean? Like, stripper news gets the last laugh, and like in the most, and I mean that in the most like pleasant way, because like we're not trying to make fun of anyone, and we're not trying to like we're not trying to make fun of anyone. But I definitely think there's like a punk agenda baked in, you know. And yeah, I'm like determined. I'm determined with the punk agenda of stripper news.
All right. Thank you, Diney.
Thank you.
Now.